Welcome to the Mountaineer Football Tonight Coaches Show with Mountaineer Head Coach Greg Lloyd. Mountaineer Football Tonight is a presentation of KMHS Sports and the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club.
Well, welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight. I guess I should call this Mountaineer Football Today. Drew Fulton and I and Coach Lloyd and Coach Harris recorded last night what we thought was a great episode at Studio One at Bates Fieldhouse, and we got done. We realized once the coaches had left that there was some technical issues and YouTube didn't work properly for us. So we're re-recording this. We'll have Coach Lloyd on in a little bit. We're doing this virtually, and I appreciate Coach Lloyd in a few minutes taking the time in between classes today on Tuesday of this week to meet with me and re-record this show. Well, the Mountaineers are coming off a big win, 48-7 over Forestview this past Friday night. And when Coach Lloyd joins us in a few minutes, we're going to talk to him about that game, break it down, the windy conditions, and the success the Mountaineers had, as well as look ahead to this Friday's game against South Point. So we're going to take a sponsor break. We're so grateful for the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club and so many other sponsors that you'll see here throughout this program, and grateful for each of them and what it means to the football program and the athletic program and really the whole community at Kings Mountain High School benefiting from your sponsorship. So we'll take a sponsor break, and after that sponsor break, we'll show you the highlight video from the Forestview game, and we'll be joined by Head Coach of the Mountaineers, Greg Lloyd. We'll be right back.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home,
All right, Mountaineer Football Tonight. Jeff Johnson with our wonderful coach. He always takes the time to be with us, Greg Lloyd. Coach Lloyd, thanks for being with us again.
Glad to be here, Jeff.
And I'll publicly apologize for you having to deal with this show twice this week, but
No
thank you for
problem
your
at all. Glad to see you.
thank you for your flexibility. Well, Coach, let me first say congratulations. As we've said, a win's a win. A conference win's huge. And I know you've got bigger goals of the season, but 1 week at a time.
Yeah, we played well last week. I was pleased with how we came out. We got off to a great start and was really proud of the team. Thought we played good in all three areas, and it was a good win. And it keeps us atop the conference standings. And thought we played well.
Well, you came out with a 48-7 win. I know that with Hurricane Ian hitting Florida and moving up here and the uncertainty of the weather, was it much a factor for you to reschedule to Thursday? I mean, obviously one less day. How'd that impact last week's practice schedule for you?
Well, we had to obviously change what we were doing a little bit, go a little longer Tuesday, a little longer Wednesday, kind of make up for the missed time. But it worked out okay. We're a pretty experienced team, and we was able to handle that, and I thought they did a good job.
Well, obviously we know we're looking back, hindsight, big win, 48-7. The win, how much, for those of us that were there live, the win was pretty strong. I thought you guys handled it pretty well. I mean, what was your take on the teams handling the weather and the conditions?
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job. We knew it was going to play a factor in the game. We were fortunate enough to win the coin toss where we could kind of pick the way we wanted to play the first quarter, and it worked out to our advantage. We backed them up, and they had to play against the wind. We scored really early there and got a nice cushion, and I think it got us a lot of confidence, and I really think it hurt theirs a little bit, and it just it just kind of went our way from there. And credit to the players; they did a great job.
Well, you did mention taking advantage of the early opportunities. I know that you got an early turnover, an interception, good field position. Good teams will capitalize on those, and I think that as we've shown throughout the season, you guys are taking advantage of that. So jumping on them early, particularly in that first quarter with the wind at your back, had to be good as the game went on.
For sure.
Coach, talk about one of the things that we've been really seeing, I think, and we've talked about this on the broadcast as well, is on the offensive side of the ball, really continuing to show a lot of balance. I mean, obviously, I know that as a coach, you want the team to be strong running the ball and passing the ball. But talk about the importance, and it showed even Friday night, the balance of not only throwing the ball in windy conditions, but to be able to run the ball well.
Yeah, I think that's really how our offense is predicated, to be able to do both and take what the defense gives you. That's a cliche, but it really is a lot of truth to it. And that's kind of what we work on each and every day, try to get better at both. I think Lamont's has really improved steadily as the year's gone on. Our receivers have gotten better. Of course, we've got a deep stable of running backs who's done a great job. So, I mean, we got the personnel, the O-line's improving. So, I mean, the whole offense is getting better. And we want to be balanced because we think that makes us harder to defend. And it's just the way we need to move forward, I believe. And I believe we're doing a good job with it.
Yeah, you definitely mentioned the running backs. I was telling somebody the other day, what a luxury when you've got Robert Kendrick, for all intents and purposes, coming in as the third running back option, and Teddy's running well, Caleb's running well, and even Micah as your fourth. I mean, you guys.
They're all four good running backs.
Yeah.
Of course, Micah and Robert play a ton of defense, so
Yep.
They're contributing over there. But all four boys can really run the ball, and they're team players, and they just do an excellent job.
Well, I think even on the receivers, I think you've had. I think Zorion's done a good job in recent weeks as well. We were talking in the broadcast that didn't happen a little bit, but I know he plays special teams, returning punts. But that young man has a bright future. I mean, only a sophomore, and you saw it in Friday's game. He took that slant and took it to the house. He's electric.
Yeah, he's fast. He's young. He's going to get a lot better. The stronger he gets, the heavier he gets, because he's going to be fast. And the year of weightlifting is really going to help him. But right now, he's really helping our team, and he's got good speed. He's got good hands, and he's learning the plays, and he's doing an excellent job. Really proud of Zorion.
Well, it's just I think we've definitely seen the improvement, and you can see that consistency on the field. And I mean, you got Zay making plays, you've got Jake making plays, you got a number of these players that are jumping in, and it's got to be good for building confidence for Lamont as the season goes on.
No question. I think he has confidence as all of his guys, and we catch the ball pretty well. They all got really good hands, and it's going well. But we know we got to keep working, got to keep improving,
Yeah.
and that's what we intend to do.
Yeah. Well, I know perhaps Forestview the conditions seem to hurt them a little bit more, at least from my vantage point. And I guess I didn't scout them out as well to see, but good sized quarterback they had on the other side of the line, seemed like to throw the ball well. But I thought your defense continued to do what it's done all season to opposing quarterbacks and even their offensive lines. As you've said, we're not the biggest of lines, but we're fast and we're athletic. And I thought against Forestview, really, you guys set the tone on the D line. We're consistently playing behind the line of scrimmage.
No question, our defensive line continues to play well. It was played well Friday. And Forestview did a good job of getting rid of the ball quick some and just getting it down the field a little bit on us. But we pressured him, we hit him some, we harassed him, and it really helped us gain control of the game. And we've pretty much done that each and every week. And Coach Kenny's boys have really played well up front, and they, like you said, they're fast and athletic, and they're aggressive, and they're definitely one of the strengths of our team.
Well, I thought it was a great team effort, and I know that you were able in the running clock in the last quarter to get some reserves in, and that you can't substitute time on the field, and I know that will pay dividends for those young men. If not this season, definitely in the next season.
100%.
I know you wanted the shutout, but it didn't happen. That's okay. Still a strong victory for the Mountaineers, 48-7 over Forestview. Congratulations on that. Mountaineers remain undefeated on the season, which is great. Now, Coach, how about players of the game? Share with us your players of the game this week.
Okay, players of the game offensively. We spoke about him earlier. We're going to give that to Zorion Lanier. He had an excellent game, 2 huge catches, close to 100 yards receiving. So he's going to be our offensive player of the game. And our defensive player of the game and our special teams player of the game is going to be the same player, A.J. Richardson. He led the team in sacks, tackles for loss, quarterback pressures, and then he had a block punt. He also had a fumble return for a touchdown. So he's going to carry the way with the special teams and defensive player of the game.
Well, congratulations to these young men for players of the game, and we're grateful for Patriot Jacks being our sponsor for the players of the game, and each week we do that. And Patriot Jacks, thank you for your sponsorship for not only the show but for the Mountaineer program. So you need to go out and support Patriot Jacks, one of our local businesses. Coach, we're going to be right back in just a minute. We'll take a sponsor break, and when we come back, let's talk South Point. Big game coming up Friday night. We'll be right back.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Football Tonight. Jeff Johnson with head coach of the Mountaineers, Greg Lloyd. Coach Lloyd, perhaps, I know we've no disrespect to some of the other opponents we faced this season, but as far as the conference implications and playoff seeding, this is a huge game this Friday night.
No question. Doesn't get much bigger than this as far as conference standings. South Point is a strong program, traditionally strong. They're good every year. They expect to win. And they've got another fine team this year. They're very well coached, and They're a very tough opposition.
Well, Coach, they're coming in 6-0, 3-0 in the conference. And uh, for those Mountaineer fans who are familiar with South Point, they run kind of that wishbone triple option. And the Mountaineers went into their house last year, came out with a big win. I thought one of the biggest wins of the season last year. That's not an easy place to go in and win. And I think our house has become a similar place, not an easy place to come in. I think your record at home the past many years, especially since we got the new stadium, new field, is really good. Talk about some of the challenges you face. Let's first talk about on the defensive side of the ball for us. Talk about the challenges for facing an offense with the triple option and some of the things that they run at South Point.
Yeah, I mean for one, it's the only time of the year you see this offense normally, unless you find somebody in the playoffs or whatever. So it's the only game that we see this style of play. We call it the flex bone. So it's it's fullback, quarterback, pitch man, all can run the ball on any play. Even though all the plays probably look similar to people, they're really not. They block them different. They run a trap, or they'll reverse out. They make it very difficult on you. They do it very well. They've done it for a long time. Those guys know how to coach it well, and then they have tough kids to execute it. And then this year, I think their O-line is even bigger. I mean, they've got some big kids up front to boot. And, of course, all the guys that run the ball for them, they run hard. And their quarterback reads it well. So it's a very tough offense to defend. Just look at their scores. I mean, they score on everybody. They put points up all the time, and they always have. So it's a great challenge for us. Coach Wilson does an excellent job of preparing, and he's done a great job in the past preparing for these kind of games. And we played pretty well against him last year. I think we got a few breaks that really helped us last year. They got some penalties that really put them behind the change. But we played pretty well against him last year. But they're better this year, and they're bringing a better team in here. So it's the challenge is great, but I believe our players will be ready to go, and they'll play as hard as they can and try to play very smart and physical, and we'll just see what happens.
Well, good news, particularly for the offensive side of the ball. It looks like the weather outlook is really good for Friday, so that shouldn't be too much of a factor. Well, how about what South Point brings on the defensive side of the ball? We mentioned earlier in the broadcast about our desire to be a balanced offense, that if one team wants to take one away, we can pass, we can run. On the defensive side of the ball, what do you foresee as some of the challenges that South Point brings to the Mountaineers?
Well, there are multiple defenses. Last week against Crest probably more of a predominant passing team. They were able to get in a 3-4 and drop 8 into coverage and do a good job. They played other teams that predominantly run. They're able to get in a 5-man front and play that. So they're a very intelligent team. Like I said earlier, they're really well coached on both sides of the ball. But I think to move it on, we'll have to be balanced. I don't think you can do one thing and just find a lot of success against those guys. They're good tacklers. They don't beat themselves, and they're a good football team. And defensively, they'll be one of the better ones we see all year.
Well, no doubt we expect a good Mountaineer crowd, and I know South Point should travel well. There's going to be a lot of excitement and energy in the stadium. When we tried to record this last night, we mentioned sometimes the challenges of keeping focus for the players. Sometimes Coach can that energy and that excitement and that adrenaline, can that get in the way sometimes and be I guess a distraction?
It can. It most certainly can. But you got to keep your emotions in check and understand the game still played on a 100 yards there, still 120 end zone to end zone, and it's the same as your practice field, same as any other game. So you got to treat it as such and try to. It'll be exciting, and it'll be loud in there, and the bands will be rocking. It'll be a great atmosphere. I'm happy that we're able to be in a big game like this. I'm excited for the players because it's kind of one of the main reasons you play, because you want to be able to get out there and play in a game like this. So it's exciting. We played in big games before. We played in several games this year with big crowds in Burns and Shelby, and our kids performed well. So I expect them to do the same Friday.
Well, we definitely wish you luck against South Point this Friday night. Friday night's kickoff is 7:30, and we encourage all of you Mountaineer fans. We want to fill the stands. We want to pack the hill. We want to have a good crowd there to cheer on Coach Lloyd, his coaching staff, and definitely the players as they take on South Point. This is a huge game for a conference, the potential for conference championship, as well as playoff seeding going forward. So Mountaineer fans, you need to definitely be on hand. If you happen to be traveling or gone or not able to be at the game, we will have the broadcast, and we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. Well, Coach Lloyd, I appreciate you. I know you're in between class schedule today, and I thank you for taking the time to be with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the sidelines as you take the field on Friday night against South Point.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff, and go Mountaineers.
All right, well, take care. We'll see you soon.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home.
Welcome back to the final segment here on Mountaineer Football Tonight, Mountaineer Football Today. We are grateful that you've joined us and appreciate Coach Lloyd being with us. We did record Coach Harris last week, and we look forward next week to having Coach Harris join us on the broadcast, we hope, and you'll love to hear his insight on special teams and just a great interview with him. We do want to end the broadcast with a couple things, remind you of a number of things. Number one, like and subscribe. Like this show, share it, subscribe to the channel, KMHS Sports here on YouTube. So if you subscribe to it, it'll give you a notification whenever we go live or we upload a program or wherever the broadcast is going on. You will be able to get notified of that. But also it helps promote it. So please encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. I don't know if it's down below or over here up top, but you need to like, share, and subscribe. I also want to remind you that this Friday night, as you heard, the game kickoff is at 7:30. Pre-game for our broadcast here on the channel. It is home game. We will be doing a live broadcast with Lamont Littlejohn, Craig Short, and Drew Fulton. I know that speaking on behalf of Craig and Lamont and myself, Drew is really the heart and soul of that broadcast. He puts together all the information sheets for us. He's setting up all the technology, and we could not do it without Drew's help, really the driving force behind that broadcast. So grateful for him. But if you do, listen, if you're here in town, you need to be here Friday night. Come. It's worth the money to buy a ticket that's going back into the program, but you need to be here. South Point's going to be a huge game, a very big game, and we need the largest crowd we've had this season. We've had some good crowds. We travel well, but we need to be at John Gamble Stadium this Friday night. Come fill the stands. If for some reason you're not physically able to be here, or you're coming in late, or you're out of town, tune in to the broadcast, or go to the game live. Then come watch the broadcast, the live show. Watch the game that we will share for you. Watch it later on, but come to the game. But we will offer that for those of you that want to join us on YouTube this Friday night. All right, we'll end with this. We got KM this week. I want you to know the other things that are going on. Of course, Monday, those sporting events have already taken place. Yesterday, we had the women's golf team was playing. The volleyball team was playing, as well as the tennis team, and men's soccer were played at Crest. Today, at home, our volleyball team, the Ladies Mountaineers, will take on North Gaston, 4:30 for JV and 6 o'clock for varsity. The women's tennis team will travel this afternoon to play Stuart Kramer, and the cross-country meet will be 5 o'clock today at RS Central. Tomorrow, the men's soccer team will travel to Ashbrook for a 6 o'clock start to that game. Thursday, volleyball team will be home here at Kings Mountain High School, 4:30 JV, 6 p.m. for the varsity. The women's tennis team will travel to Crest for a 4:30 start to their match. And the JV football team will travel just up the road, up I-85, to be Belmont face South Point. 7 o'clock kickoff for our JV football players at South Point. And of course, as we've mentioned multiple times on this show, you're going to want to be tuned in or in the house for the varsity game on Friday night. Well, that's a wrap. I've got a day ahead of me that's busy, and I appreciate Coach Lloyd joining us on his busy schedule. We'll get this out to you today, and Mountaineer fans, have a great week. Be blessed. I look forward to seeing you Friday night at John Gamble Stadium. Take care.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home,